Daddy's trying to work.
So I think that this video is particularly important to make. I know this is a business and entrepreneurship channel, but the reason that I'm an entrepreneur is because I want freedom and I want flexibility. And I want to set a reminder to myself, as well as anybody watching here. I want you to ask yourself why you're an entrepreneur. For me, that's because I want more time with my family. I want more flexibility to do exactly what I want to do and what I think is best for them. And what's best for them is more time with me. But I have to say that is extremely challenging, trying to make more time for my family, trying to be flexible for my family, and I'm really struggling. I have a lot of dad guilt, I'll call it, in not knowing whether or not I'm spending too much time on the computer, too much time by myself. Sometimes it's important to step back and talk about why we're in entrepreneurship in the first place. And for me, that's because I want to spend more time with my kids. It's the last month that I'm going to have 2 kids under 5 years old. They both turn 5 and 2 next month. And I'm feeling guilty about how much time I've been spending with them. And I think that this video is for me to help me re-examine what I want to get out of life, what I want to get for the next 5 years. I have to say that not my 5-year-old, my 2-year-old, when I pick up my phone, she takes it from me and sets it down. And she's a cheeky little rebel, and I love her for it, because it just really does make you think about, like what you're actually doing. She makes me think about what I'm actually doing. My name is Christian, but you can call me Lo. Make sure to subscribe if you want to see lots more videos about entrepreneurship, gig work, and the creator economy. My wife talks to me a lot about turning 30, but to me, it doesn't actually feel like anything. It's just like the next year, which is the same as all the other years. That in-between phase from 28 to 32 really doesn't feel any different. It's kind of all the same. But it's not really the same because everybody around me is getting older. I look at my daughters, it's so cliché saying time is passing you by, life is slipping you by. It's cliché, but I don't think that I really appreciated that, really understood it until I started having kids. When you think about it in those kinds of terms, I think that me growing up feels very, very slow. And then me watching my kids grow up feels very fast. And I remember my grandfather a long, long time ago, he told me, he goes, as you get older, time seems to pass you by faster. I started being self-employed because I wanted the freedom, because I wanted to do whatever it was that I wanted. I don't really have these giant career ambitions. I don't really care. I never did. I always wanted freedom. And when I traveled, when I left the country for the first time, it opened my eyes to this like totally brand new world. And that was all I ever wanted. I was like, there's so much this world has to offer that I just want to be curious for the rest of my life. I just want to figure out, find out. And so, and I think that there is sort of this like, I don't want to say constant disappointment, but there is like some element of that. There's like this disappointment in I haven't been spending as much time with my children as I would like to. I spent a lot of time before they were born preparing for a future when they were here, and I would get to just spend all of my time with them, training them in the ways of the world, really just enjoying being curious with them. But I feel like to a certain extent that life hasn't happened. I wake up to 5 work emails every single day. 5, I don't know why I said 5, 50 work emails every single day. And messages, I'm getting messages on my watch right now as I'm speaking. And it's just like, sometimes, I am so busy all the time. And I do feel really grateful for the life that we've created and the flexibility that we have. But sometimes I just feel like I'm not doing enough for my kids. I feel like I'm not helping them become the people that they're going to be. I'm not doing enough because we wake up and it's just like a mad dash to make breakfast, to brush hair, everybody does that, right? Sometimes it takes so long to do those things that everybody has to do, and then I have to go to work. I have to do these other things that I have to do. And then whatever time is left over, that's what my kids get. I feel guilty about it. I really want to just be with them all the time. I want to give them the best experiences that they could ever have, the best childhood that they could ever have, the best education that they could ever have. And sometimes it just feels like, often, not sometimes, often, it just feels like I'm not doing enough. I wish I could do more. But I just feel so, you know that feeling when you like get scammed? Maybe it's not quite that exaggerated, but every time I think about it, like making this video, for example, right now, my parents took my girls away and they're having the time of their lives at a soft play. They don't know the difference between me working and me spending time with them because it's often interlinked. I've been very, very busy with work, and I'm very grateful for my parents coming and watching them. But at the same time, I wish all of my work stuff was put together without me. I wish it could be handled without me. That's what I want. That's what I want for my life. I am an entrepreneur for the only reason is because I want the freedom and the flexibility to do whatever I want to do. Okay, so I wanna leave you with a question, and it's something that I've been asking myself a lot lately. Why do you want to be an entrepreneur? If you're doing DoorDash, why do you want DoorDash? Is it because of freedom? Is that why? Because that's why I said that I wanted to be an entrepreneur. At the very beginning, when I was 20 years old, I said I want to do this because I want to have it my way. I want to go explore. I want to do things the way I want to do them, and I want to be free, flexible, to meet the woman of my dreams, to raise my kids exactly how I want to do it, to travel the world because that's what I love to do. But sometimes it feels like entrepreneurship can rob you of those things. Right now is the perfect time because I really have to take a step back and ask myself again, what am I giving up for that lifestyle? For you know, whatever I have accomplished. For me, sadly, I think sometimes it does rob me from time with my kids because I am always, I'm always on. I'm always on the clock. So to give you an example, before my daughter was born, when my wife got pregnant, right before that we were like traveling and it was lots of fun, but we decided like it was time to start a family. And I was working doing like web design type stuff, but it was not enough to it was enough to provide for us in Indonesia where we were, but it was not enough to provide for us in the UK or in Germany, which is where we wanted to raise a family. When we decided to have a baby, I had to figure out something else. And I decided that thing was Forex trading. If you don't know Forex trading, it's essentially like you're buying and selling currency, like pounds and dollars and euros, based on the change in rates. And it was great. I really sunk my teeth into that during Deborah's pregnancy. We were living in Berlin, and I spent like 6 months. It was basically all the money that I had saved up. We spent on our living expenses there in Germany, and then I just like went to town and I was like, I'm gonna solve this because once I've solved this, we'll have everything we could ever need, right? I dedicated so much time, so much energy into this thing, and I created this system that really worked, and I mean really worked. And when I was making money, I was just like constantly doing the math, like, oh, I keep this up, we're sorted, right? And then one day, it didn't work anymore, and then it didn't work again. And it didn't work again because I was just so angry that I'd put so much time into this thing that wasn't working out and that I couldn't control myself. And that was the biggest thing, is that, So for the next like 4 years, because my girl's almost 5 now, this cycle has kind of repeated itself a few times where it's maybe not so drastic as Forex trading, but like I start something new, I work on it full tilt for like 6 months, a year, and then eventually something happens and I quit and I start over with something else. And I don't know if that's like a good thing or a bad thing, but it's made me think a lot about like what does the next 5 years have in store. We've had lots and lots of ups and downs throughout the last 5 years, and the truth is it's not where I thought I was going to be. If I talked to my 22-year-old self asking where are you going to be, where's your entrepreneurship going to be, I thought that it would be like my business will be running itself and I'll be just, you know, spending time with my family, traveling the world, doing whatever. And that is where I want to be. I can say that while I do feel bad about, you know, starting and stopping and starting and stopping, I do have to say that the last 5 years doing a huge variety of things has given me a lot of experience in doing different things. And I think that I wouldn't be where I am now if it weren't for the last 5 years. And I feel pretty comfortable that we're headed in the right direction. Like I've been kind of down talking my last 5 years, starting, stopping, and being inconsistent with things. But the truth is that I've realized that there are certain things that I'm good at and there are certain things that I'm really not. And so Of course, this is just like a new thing that I'm starting that may or may not carry me into the future, but I've realized that I can do some things really great and I can outsource the rest. I don't have to try to do everything. I don't have to dive 6 months into one business just for it to flop, right? I think that that's what the last 5 years has really taught me and my wife as well, is that we love just like starting businesses, running businesses, and having, and outsourcing the work, because the truth is that there's like a 90% chance that each and every one of them will fail. We don't want to resent our lives. We don't want to resent the time that we spend on these things if it doesn't work out the way we want. And so that's what we've been thinking a lot about. I've been thinking about how to spend my time. First of all, my name is Christian Osmo. I am 31. No, gosh dang it. How old am I? First of all, my name is Christian Osmo. I'm 29 years old, and I have 2 little girls who are both under the age of 5. And we're currently in the last month that I'll be able to say that, which honestly breaks my heart a little bit. But sorry, no, it's fine. I don't know why you asked me to say that. Sorry. I think that they've had a great childhood, but I do think that there are entire periods of the last 4 or 5 years that like I barely even remember. And that's not what I want for the next 5 years. For the next 5 years, I want to remember every second. I really do. I want to make every day special. I want to make every day new. I want to be the person for them. I want to be their person that they always run to, that they always call to, that they think of when they think back on their lives. This is the person who trained me to do everything that I know how to do, to be curious about the world, to speak Spanish, hopefully. I want them to look back and look at my wife and I and think, I had the best childhood. I could never have asked for anything else. And I think that that's what I want more than anything in life. I don't care about business insofar as long as I'm making enough money to give my children the best childhood that they could possibly have. I do want to make the world a better place. And I know that that sounds a bit cliche, but I think that everybody has their own way of doing that. And for me, we're focused on our own kids' education, and we're focused on helping people jump more into entrepreneurship. And that's our way of making things better, for other people. But I think that the longer the time goes on for me, the more I realize it's cliche and everybody says it because it's true. And so I found myself trying to figure out what else does everyone say. And a lot of people, especially the most successful among us, say, I wish I had more time with my kids. I wish I had shifted my priorities differently to family. And I don't want to live with those kinds of regrets. I already feel guilty. I feel guilty about not spending enough time with my kids. I already feel guilty about not giving them exactly the kind of childhood that I want them to have. I want to know that I did everything that I could to give us together the best time, the best life that I possibly could. These experiences that we've had, some of them are already gone. We will not have another infant, for example. It's not going to happen. And so if we didn't cherish the time that we had, that's already gone. And we have to take that to heart and think about, what can we do now? What are we going to miss out now if we don't take the opportunity? For me and for my wife as well, one of the biggest things that like really helps us shift our perspective to get us back square in life where we want to be is looking back at photos and videos. My wife, she makes all these videos of all of our different experiences, and every single one of them is just a reminder that this happened and it's not going to happen again. And so really trying to cherish that moment, that memory, and trying to create more of them. I mean, really take every moment in. And again, this video is full of cliches, but I think it's cliche for a reason. You won't get those moments back. It just doesn't, time doesn't work that way. When my baby girl turned 4, we put out this video, and I got really emotional the night before her birthday. And I think that the reason was that from 0 to 4, it's obviously just like a natural development, just like any other year. But there's something profound that happens when she turns 4. She's not a baby anymore. She knows how to speak English. She even knows how to speak Spanish. She knows how to count to like whatever, 100. And before that, on her 3rd birthday, she was just still very much a little baby toddler who didn't really know her way, didn't have her own opinions. But when she turned 4, it's like this sudden realization that she's actually a person, and time is just going to keep going. It doesn't stop. It never does. And those memories, those moments when she was a baby, when she was 2 years old, when she was 18 months old, when she was screaming at the table and we couldn't get her to stop, they're gone. They'll never come back. And when I was a child, I remember thinking to myself, like, I can't wait to grow up. But I do also think that when you have kids of your own, it's like you just want to slow down the process as much as you can. I don't know how else to say it. I wish things would just move more slowly. In order to really cherish the moments that you have with your kids, with my kids, I think I really have to be intentional with everything. Fun moments, memories, sometimes they happen by chance, sometimes. But for the most part, they don't happen by chance. You have to make them happen. You have to go out and do things, do fun things, do educational things that your kids really want to do and that they're going to be really engaged with. In order to really make those experiences happen, I think that you have to plan ahead, think about exactly what you want the day to look like, make sure that things like food and water and nap time are all resolved. And really, the truth is that it takes a lot of time. Everything takes a lot of time. And then you have to, at the same time, you have to like capture those memories so that you can look back at them in the past, so that they can live on in your memory. So what I want to do, what I want out of my kids' childhood, what I want them to have out of their childhood is new experiences. We're talking a lot about moving to Madrid for a little while. Again, that freedom, that flexibility that we've built over the last 4 years have really helped us create this reality where we can just up and move to Madrid. I want to have that sort of that cultural education that you will never really get unless you go and you move to a place. I want them to have that because I want them to have a different childhood than I had. Okay, so the other things that I can do to like really cherish our times is I think what we need is a little bit more structure. But also not be so rigid. The structure should be flexible. Like little things like making sure that we wake up on time, we brush our teeth on time, that we set our phone aside. Those things seem pretty, reasonably obvious, but they're actually really difficult to do, especially when, you're like me and Deborah, where we have 2 parents with the kids all the time. What we've realized is that what happens is if we don't wake up on time, we don't brush our teeth on time, we don't eat breakfast on time, we don't know what breakfast is going to be, all of those little things turns into a very long morning, and then that long morning runs into nap time, and then we can't actually go out and do the things that we really want to do. So if I had to think about what we have to do in order to create this reality, we have to be more structured. We have to know exactly what we're going to eat. We have to shop for it beforehand. We have to brush teeth every morning right at the same time. We have to wake up at the same time. But then there are also kind of like less tangible things, like when I'm working, this is my problem more than anybody else's probably. I'm constantly connected to my workers. I need to be able to just set the phone aside for X amount of time and say this time is just for my family. I think that we want to have time individually with each of our girls. Like I want to take Malaya out for fun and Deborah takes Mava and then we trade. Instead of just having family time all the time, because I do think that there's something really special about that undivided attention. And so those are my goals for the next 4 or 5 years.